The Relief Society and Elders Quorum presidencies are responsible for the day-to-day work of salvation efforts in the ward. They counsel together, working side by side under the keys of the bishop. Relief Society and Elders Quorum leaders support members in living the gospel of Jesus Christ. They emphasize increased faith, repentance, self-reliance, and making covenants with God by receiving the ordinances of the temple. Leaders encourage members to study the gospel at home. When members learn and live the gospel in the home, their conversion to Heavenly Father in Jesus Christ deepens. Discussing the gospel in Sunday meetings assists in this process by allowing members the opportunity to increase their faith, build unity, strengthen families and homes, and make plans to help accomplish the work of salvation and exaltation. In the Lord's Church, every member is important, and all have needs. Presidencies prayerfully consider assignments for ministering brothers and sisters to care for others as the Savior would. They help those they serve to realize their own strengths. They share ways for them to contribute, and they seek to understand and respond to their needs. Bishops, along with Relief Society and Elders Quorum presidencies, seek out those in need of spiritual or emotional support, as well as short or long-term assistance. Under the direction of the bishop, leaders prayerfully plan ways to teach principles of self-reliance, counsel with individual members, and help members find solutions to their temporal needs. They also seek ways for their members to serve in their communities. JustServe.org is a helpful resource where available. Inviting others to receive the gospel of Jesus Christ can be as simple as an invitation to join in service, to share their talents, to attend an activity, to meet with the missionaries, or to attend church on Sunday. Each presidency has the responsibility to work with the ward council in their efforts to encourage members to reach out in sincerity and love. They counsel in their presidencies about ways to help others share the gospel, support new members, and embrace those who may need strengthening. Supported by the bishopric, the Elders Quorum and Relief Society presidencies lead temple and family history efforts in their organizations and in the ward. They help members of the ward council develop a temple and family history plan, which the bishop will need to approve. Presidencies identify individuals who are preparing to receive their temple ordinances and plan ways to help them prepare. They also encourage participation in activities that involve children, families, and individuals in family history and temple work. As the Relief Society presidency and Elders Quorum presidency work together in unity, their efforts to bring others to the Savior will be magnified.